talked about spreads a little bit in the past, but this is really telling here, and it really speaks to what's happening with banks and why are mortgages so cheap? Why do you hear from other large institutional managers that this is their best idea? Okay, spreads. So pre 2 years ago, let me get to these two charts. So this is bank holdings of mortgage backs and treasuries, okay, going back 5 years. So this is COVID, about $2.2 trillion bank holdings, peaked roughly 2 years ago, February of 2022, at a little over $3 trillion. Since then, it got down to about 2.4 trillion as of recently. That's one leg of the buyer base and a very large leg, which is US banks. The second leg, and I call this chart chutes and ladders, is the federal government. So this is the federal government's holding of mortgage-backed securities. COVID went from 1.4 trillion magically to 1.8 trillion almost overnight. Each of these ladders, each of these points upwards, are purchases. Each of these chutes or downward trends, those are monthly pay downs. One beautiful thing about mortgage bonds is you get paid every month. So you can see these ladders here are very large relative to ladders that we're seeing today. Okay. And this is when the federal government said they're going to stop buying. There stopped being any type of upticks whatsoever in September of 2022, about 16 months ago. Peaked at about 2.7 trillion. Today it's at about 2.4 trillion. But you see these ladders, they're very, very slight. Okay. These are like ladders for 2-year-olds, not ladders for 10-year-olds. Okay. So very, very slight because pay downs have decreased precipitously. Okay. So that's also affecting banks and the government, is they're not getting as much in pay downs per month from these mortgage bonds and mortgages outright that they were ever expecting. They were expecting to get back 15 to 25% of their money per year. They're only getting back 3 to 4% of their money per year. But long story short of these two charts is that the two largest holders out there, roughly 2/3 of the buyer base, are gone. Okay. And they've been gone for 2 years. So the result of that is half-year duration bonds went from a spread of 15 basis points to a spread of almost 200 last fall. Now let's compare that to other sectors, okay? The green line here is corporate, investment-grade corporate floaters, okay? 50% of this index is triple B. So the red line being agency, you can pick up 60 to 70 basis points of spread in agency floaters relative to corporate floaters, okay? The blue line here is AAA CLOs, which are backed by B and double B credits. They're trading at basically the same spread as agencies are, i.e. agencies are crazy cheap.